Hi everyone, today I have 4 books to present to you. If you feel like you want to have a good cry or you want to feel revolted, I've got you. So let's start with the one that I read recently, which is Kim Ji-young, born 1982. So what is this about? It's essentially the story of a woman who could actually be any woman in South Korea, and how she grows up and how do I say this? There is quite a lot of sexism every step of the way. I don't know how to say it any other way. For example, when she's younger, her family has a boy as well, and how the boy gets his own room. For example, when the 2 sisters have to share a room, stuff like that. What I like about this book is that this book talks about the sacrifices of being a woman and the things that are required from women, in this case in South Korea, but let's be honest, I think a bit everywhere, that things that are just expected from women, and they're not even asked. It's just, you should just do it, right? Because you are the woman, you are the mom, or you are, a carer, right? This book really revolted me sometime, and I finished it in a day. I forgot to say it, but I'm a very slow reader, and I was just like, nah, I want to know what's happening, and it was a really, really good read, so I can only recommend it to you. So that's it. The second book is The Vanishing Earth by Brit Bennett. It's excellent, honestly. All of the book that I'm going, you saw some of them then. All of the book that I'm going to talk about are all 5 stars, at least in my eyes. You might disagree, but whatever. And so The Vanishing Earth essentially is about Stella and Desiree. They are identical twins. They grew up in a small, yes, I am reading, but I'm adding some, some background info as well. So they grew up together in a small southern black community. At age 16, they decided to run away because they're done with it. And essentially this book is about the story. It's a bit multi-generational, so they talk about them and they talk about their daughters as well. But essentially this book talks about how Stella and Desiree do not have the same life at all, for one very big reason, or very small, I guess, is the color of their skin. Because what happened is that Stella actually is white passing and Desiree is not. So therefore, I don't want to spoil it too much, but because Stella is white passing, our life goes a bit different than Desiree. It's a very interesting read. There are some heavy subjects sometimes talked about, but again, please do read it. So I think this story, it's a little autobiography from Edouard Louis, and I think this hit me more because some of the situation they mentioned, so it's in France and I'm from Belgium, but I'm from the French French speaking part of Belgium, and we are heavily influenced by France, so we always know what's happening in France, okay? And some of the situation they mention, I remember hearing about it when I was younger, and I remember having some feelings about them, and because of the way I grew up, I had opinions on them, and this book have really changed, as in not changed, but it really is one of the book, that you read in your life and you're like, what, actually, a very different perspective than what at the time I thought was, well, this is my opinion, I think my opinion is better, I was young, okay, like, give me some give me some breathing room, okay? And it's quite short. Let me check. It's like 80 pages, not even. It's quite good. The prose is quite good. I'm very good at describing, as you can see. So there are quite a few sentences that I highlighted, and yeah, I recommend it. There is nothing more I can add, really. Then let's go to the last one. This one is a bit different, and it's If We Were Villains from Emma Arroyo, which is actually apparently a debut novel, which is like crazy in my eyes, because this woman, yeah, it's a woman, I think. This woman just woke up one day and was like, you know what, that's it, I'm gonna drop a banger. And she's like, okay, cool, you know, thank you. So this one is very different, and it's more like, what's the story about? It's essentially Oliver. The premise is that, you know, he just came out of jail because he served for 10 years for a murder that he may or may have not committed, right? And the story is kind of told from the perspective of him talking to a detective about the whole story. And what the story actually is about is that him and his friend were part of a group last year of conservatory, essentially like college, but for fine arts, and he was doing theatre. I don't know if theatre is part of fine arts, let's say. And yeah, him and his friend were doing theatre, drama, acting, and one day one of them died. So I have to admit, the very beginning I very much struggled because it was quite different from what I usually read. It's slightly presented like a whodunit. Apparently it's quite similar to The Secret History, which I've not read, to be honest, and apparently I should read it, but some people hate it. So I don't really know, but to be honest, some people hate this one, so you know, it might be very good. And yeah. I can't say too much about this book because essentially anything I'm gonna say is gonna be a spoiler. But it's very interesting. If there is one thing I can say is that, yeah, like I was mentioning, I really much struggled at the beginning because it was presented like a whodunit a tad, which is not something I read, and it's very Shakespeare heavy, which I'm not a fan of Shakespeare. I mean, I don't hate it, but yeah, there is a lot. And I mean, I was fine with it because it was presented in a way that obviously added to the story, so I was like, okay, fine. I'm not gonna lie, the fact that English is not my first language, some of the sentences I was like, I have no clue because it's old English, right? And I had no clue what the hell was happening. But you know, stick with it, honestly, if you can. So right guys, this has been 4 books that will make you cry or revolt. I hope you enjoyed. Please give it a try. If there is 2 maybe, okay, that you can try, I would recommend the first one, this one, and then this one. Kim Ji-young and The Vanishing Half. They are 2 bangers. This was last year 5-star, this year 5-star, like no hesitation. They were so good, no question asked. So yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to subscribe. We'll see each other again soon. See you.